We will not copyright or trademark that. We do not have the rights to this at all. Please do not sue us. Thank you.
Welcome to These Unprecedented Gays, featuring Joe Granelli and Paul Smith. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review wherever you stream your podcasts. Check us out on Instagram at tugayspod and email us at tugayspod@yahoo.com. We hope you enjoy. Hey, all you tuggers and tuggettes. I'm Paul.
And I'm Joe.
And we are These Unprecedented Gays.
We are, aren't we?
We are.
Are you?
We are. I
are we
always am.
tuggers? Can we be tuggers?
I do that all the time. So.
Oh my. Do you do it or does your husband do it?
We do it to each other.
Oh my.
And we do it to ourselves.
Oh my. I feel like that's a kid's book. Like, you can do it with yourself or you can do it with your friends.
I'm trying to think of a rhyme so I can be like Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, I was trying to do the same thing. Like, I will not touch your... I will not tug your downstairs now. I will only tug you if you own a cow. I don't know.
So how was your week, Joe?
You know, definitely not a prolific writer. Week was good. We actually hung out safely, COVID safely, and we played. What was the game that? Well, we played what was it called? The DMs.
Slide into the DMs.
Yes. Oh, but okay. So we did something that I've never done before, and we did like the Phantom card, right?
Oh yeah.
And so for all you guys listening, basically there were.
Five of us.
And then we put in a Phantom card where we just drew like one of the cards. And then it was like, oh, if you pick this, then no one wins. But the Phantom was doing a really good job.
I know.
Like, the Phantom cards were really good. I know. So then I was like, are there actually ghosts in the house? Right? Are we not alone here? I mean, there were people, but like, were there extraterrestrials?
Or was it the Phantom of the Opera?
Oh, man.
You know.
Yes.
Sing for me.
Oh, she sang in those cards. We saw them.
So,
what about you?
So we started doing something. I don't know if it's really legal or not, but I feel like a bad boy when we talk about it. So we decided to we were trying to get into well, sort of adjacent to that.
Oh.
We found we got a router and we started opening up VPNs for other countries so we can watch Drag Race on Netflix UK. Because on Netflix UK it comes out the next day.
Oh, that rhymed.
Yeah.
That's a Dr. Seuss.
But I was also they have some really cool stuff over there that we don't have over here.
On the Netflix?
On Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
But also, did you ever finish watching Blown Away? The glass blowing one?
Yes.
The second season comes out soon.
On
Netflix, just regular Netflix.
I love Blown Away. I watched that in one day, and my favorite was that they had glory holes, and they were like, that
Every
glory
time
hole
they
is
said
so
it.
hot. And I was like,
Every time they said it, I was like, oh, he's going to put it in the glory hole.
Oh, yeah. But they were so serious, and I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, but
hilarious.
it's cool because the next season is coming out. So I'm very excited about
that. That was
this.
3 years ago when it came out. No, 2, maybe a year and a half. Maybe it was last year.
But the other reason why we needed Netflix UK or a VPN was so that we could go and check out Channel 4 and stuff because the Great Pottery Throwdown, the new season, started in the UK.
Yeah, I'm still in the first season.
Oh my God, get with it,
I think
girl.
our listeners are probably like, wait, you've been on the first season for 8 weeks now? But I'm on the finale of the first season.
Good. Can you finish watching it, please, so we can talk about it?
Well,
because the third season I said had a good-looking guy in it, and I thought you would have just...
The first season had a good-looking guy. The veterinarian.
Each one has a good-looking guy in it. There's a good-looking guy in every season.
You know, that's what frustrates me about this is the cookie cupcake, or no, it was the cookie Christmas... the Christmas cookie competition challenge or whatever. Yeah. And they typecast them so well.
And those gays were gay.
Oh yeah, you have the token gay, you have the white suburban mom, and then you have the eccentric baker or the older woman. Oh.
Okay, so
did you watch it?
We watched a couple episodes.
There was only 5.
Yeah, and I was and
or maybe 6.
I wasn't a big fan of it because all they did was cookies.
Yeah, but that's all that matters. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So another show you should watch is the Best Leftover show on Netflix. So good. Okay, so
give it to me.
It's nailed it, but not because people have to take leftovers and make a whole new dish.
So like chopped with leftovers?
Yes, kind of like that. Yeah. So take nailed it and chopped and mix it together, and that's what you get. And it is funny as hell.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix, and the people are so cool, and the hosts are hilarious.
Is it UK or America?
No, America. Okay. Yeah. So check it out.
Oh my gosh, it's that girl.
Yeah. It's her.
No, she's on Farmhouse Rules on the Food Network. I think her name is Nancy. Is her name Nancy?
Rosemary?
Oh, baby, I'm thinking of a different old white lady. Just kidding.
That's racist.
Oh, no, it's not Nancy.
No, it is not Nancy.
Okay, it's definitely a Rosemary.
So,
she's an herb.
So we're going to get into this week's episode, which is about coronavirus and COVID, because it's something we've been living with for almost a year now.
Yeah, almost. Yeah,
it's.
Well, no, it had its first birthday back in November.
Oh, yeah,
but we here in
the
California,
States.
I think it'll be March. No, whatever.
So as of our recording today, which is January 13th, I'll give you some numbers.
Ooh, hit me with those stats.
Hit me with those stats.
Ooh, come through, man.
So according to John Hopkins' website,
I don't know her. She's official though. Thanks for getting like legit people.
Yeah, I am not trying to go like on Wikipedia.
Oh my gosh. Can you get some like, oh, I found that on Facebook. Oh, where'd you get your statistic? I got it on Facebook.
I found this article on Facebook.
I think it was a reputable source, Urban Dictionary. What is COVID?
It was talking about COVID and how it was brought on by 5G.
Yeah.
And
yeah, still is.
So, confirmed as of today, coronavirus, I put Rona as my in shorthand. I'm please don't say that.
Yeah, and you just said it. It's fine.
I did. So, confirmed with coronavirus in the U.S. is 22,864,103.
Oh my gosh.
Deaths in the U.S. is 381,513. Worldwide confirmed with coronavirus is 91 million, almost 92 million. I don't even want to talk the full number because it's just say 92 million. And deaths is almost 2 million. So
I haven't looked at the stats
now
in a while.
And not only that, but because there's such a surge after the holidays and stuff in LA County, they basically have said 1 in every 5 people in LA County has tested positive.
Well, and our case rate in San Diego is 69.7 per 100.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't know. Whatever the metric is.
Well, you know who'd be great to ask? I wonder if there's a doctor in the house.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Yes, there is!
Oh my God! In the house / studio / recording place that we do.
Yeah, I know. Welcome, Travis Roark.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Right? You did, yes.
Yay!
Also unrelated, but there's a restaurant that's called Roark, and I don't remember where it is, but it's in San Diego. And I was going to text you and ask you if it was your family's, but I just forgot until now.
Probably not.
Okay.
Because you're not from here, right?
I'm not from here. If it was Louisiana or Nebraska or Minnesota, maybe.
Well, you might have long lost cousins, family members.
It's possible. My great grandpappy definitely got around.
Yeah.
So, Travis, give us some background for our listeners about you and how you're a doctor.
A doctor.
And a gay doctor, too. Don't forget that.
Are you single?
I am no, I'm not single right now.
Okay. Just gotta put that out there for our listeners.
Gotta float that to the listeners. Appreciate it. Yes, a doctor, a very gay doctor.
So gay.
So gay. I am a internal medicine resident at Scripps up in La Jolla. I moved down to San Diego from Seattle back in the spring of 2019, so a year and a half now.
Oh my God, one of my favorite restaurants is in Seattle. Biscuit Bitch?
Oh, I've been there. Yes.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah, I was in Seattle for 9 years.
Oh.
I definitely miss the food up there.
Yeah.
Is it biscuits?
It's all biscuits and gravy, but different flavors of both. Oh, so good. And they started out in the back of a coffee shop.
Oh.
Right off of Pike's Place. And now they have a bunch of no, not a Starbucks. An actual
Starbucks
coffee
Pike Place, I thought, no?
Yeah, there is one. Yeah.
It's a market.
One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So anyway, you were saying. Back to our guest.
Yeah. I went to medical school at the University of Washington in Seattle, graduated in 2019, so pretty recent. But I lived in Seattle for a total of 9 years, but I grew up in the Midwest, born and raised in Minnesota. So I'm just
Where in Minnesota?
I was born in Minneapolis, but we lived there till I was about 6. And then we moved to East Central Minnesota, like a small farming community where the cows probably outnumber the people.
That's like Colma in San Francisco. Well, not cows, but dead people. Where there's more dead people in Colma in San Francisco than alive people because it's a cemetery town.
Oh, God, that's morbid.
Well,
yeah, thanks for bringing the room down.
Well, I mean, just a fun fact.
Infotainment for you people.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it wasn't fun or whatever. I thought it was interesting.
And so you went to medical school, and then you moved here for your job.
Right. Yep. With Scripps.
And now, just so that people know, what is internal medicine? Because if I didn't know any better, I would just say, isn't that all medicine? But no, it's not.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'd probably need like an entire episode just to like break
Explain
down the nuts and bolts of how that works. But the big division is it's not surgery. So all things not surgery.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Right. It's a little bit more nuanced than that. But that's kind of like the big branching point. You can either, go the medicine route or the surgical route after medical school.
Okay.
So, but you aren't doing that right now, right?
What do you mean?
Aren't you are you supporting COVID right now? Or are you doing
I mean, you're not supporting it. You're not like, go Rhoda!
Man, I'm killing it with words today. You're not combating the virus via doctor stuff.
I am treating COVID patients.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's what he meant. Like, are you're on the front lines of like the battle with COVID?
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
I mean, I've spent a total of 3 months in the ICU with COVID so far.
Okay.
And probably 3 or 4 months working on the wards and like COVID units. So definitely have been.
So you're definitely seeing it on a daily basis every day. So before we get into like all of that, I one thing that has always been on my mind, and I've wanted to ask somebody this who has to do with that is, how do you mentally prepare yourself every day to go and do that? Because I feel like that's going to be something that you have to have that conversation with yourself every day to get up and go there and deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's like a special unique tool I use to like mentally prepare for it other than like coffee to deal with like, sleep deprivation. Coffee in the morning, wine at night kind of a thing does the trick. I mean, kind of the reality of, our job, we're always working with, very sick people, very ill people working in kind of, dire situations. So in some ways, COVID's very new and novel, but in some ways, it's not any different than, treating somebody who's, sick or ill and needs help. I think the thing that is kind of more challenging is, it's something new, it's something novel. There's a lot we don't know about it yet. And so there's just been a lot of trial and error. So I think the uncertainty has been kind of the most challenging part. But I think working in the healthcare field, my day-to-day life has probably changed a lot less than, a lot of other people's going through all these, lockdowns and social distancing and stay-at-home stuff. Because, I still wake up every day and I go to work. I get to work with, my friends and colleagues that I was working with before this. I've been working a lot, so it's not like I've been missing out on a lot of plans. Like, yes, I've had to cancel some vacations.
You've had your stay-at-home order for a while.
Right. But I guess it gives me an excuse to feel less guilty about not going to the gym, not going out on the weekends.
Not going to Puerto Vallarta.
Not going to Puerto Vallarta. I was not in Puerto Vallarta.
Thank you.
So, okay, we
have a lot to talk about.
Okay, we have a lot to unpack because since you are a medical professional, I just want to know, and being a gay medical professional, what is your take on that whole situation, especially seeing nurses and doctors going down there? And this is, I'm not asking, I'm just asking your personal.
Bitch.
No, I think it's, obviously I personally have chosen not to travel. I mean, I canceled plans this year to go to the Philippines. I was actually planning on going to PV over Christmas because I usually go in December or January.
Look at you going to the Philippines, to my home country. Okay.
Maham Mumbai, what is it?
Mumble high, bitch?
Yes.
No, so
I never get it right.
No, you don't.
And then I was also planning on going to Germany to Oktoberfest this year. So, I mean, I did have to like make some personal sacrifices, and those are things I chose to do. Going back to the Philippines, the reason I was going to go there was because my brother-in-law, so my sister's husband, he's Filipino, and they were going to do like a wedding celebration in the Philippines. And so that initially was actually scheduled for March. And then they postponed it from March until October.
Oh.
And then things didn't get any better. So then they just basically indefinitely postponed it. But then the Philippines got hit by like a terrible typhoon. And so like the island that they were going to do everything on, like basically got decimated. So all of his family is fine. They live in Manila. But yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen. So maybe next year, maybe a few years, but it's still on my to-do list.
That's on my to-do list.
Well, I think everything's kind of been on pause, and that's okay, right? I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry. Mm-hmm. That's my personal 2 cents.
Yeah. And then going back to like my thoughts as far as, people traveling and vacationing, like I'm fine for people traveling. Kind of the issue is just, everything we saw on social media it was done in a very irresponsible way and a kind of very like self-entitled way. Yes, otherwise healthy young people, even if you get COVID, are probably not going to get sick enough to even land in the hospital, let alone like need to be on a ventilator or die. But kind of the issue is it's like then you're bringing it back to somebody's grandmother. Right. Or when you're in these communities, Mexico is getting hit really hard. These are very, it's a country without a good healthcare infrastructure system, which, we're seeing actually even a lot of the COVID here are people coming up from Baja California. If they have a way to get across the border, you directly hear that from patients that they get sick and they basically get in car and just try to get across the border because they don't want to be, hospitalized down in Tijuana or Mexicali or wherever they happen to be. So, but they're also in a position where it's, not like they have the privilege to just, stay home down there. They have to, go to work. They're kind of living paycheck to paycheck even more than we are here. So, by going down there in these huge crowds, like you're spreading it to people, whether it's the, the bartender or the waitress or the go-go boy. And then what are they doing? They're going back home to, their multi-generational house with their parents, their grandparents. Who are they giving it to? When they get sick, where are they going to go? So it's just, it's very, I feel like a very selfish thing to do. Right. Even if you do get sick, you're probably going to be fine. You're probably going to survive. But, what is the ramifications of, the people you might be spreading it to down there? And then if you do get it, you come back up here. Who are you going to give it to up here? Right. So it's kind of a very privileged status in that, yes, young, healthy people by and large do fine when they get COVID. But the problem is spreading it to other people.
Well, and my thing was like, some people had gotten the first shot with the vaccine, and it's because the vaccine is a 2-shot process. So it's like, okay, but you haven't, you're not done. Like, and then there were people who came out and said, well, I've had COVID, so I have the antibodies. Oh my God. So I'm okay.
Michelle Visage, stop relying on that antibody. Like, that was my favorite of this entire thing. But stop. Just stop. God, no.
So let's go into why we're here, which is COVID, Miss Rona. So in your opinion, like with the media covering COVID and the narrative around that, what do you feel like they got right? What do you feel like has been sensationalized with it? Like, what is your thoughts?
Well, I think part of it is also what media are we talking about? Because I think there's very different messages being spread on different...
Because not coming from 5G.
Media or social media platforms. Definitely caused by 5G. Like, why do you think it happened in China? Like,
wait, I just got an iPhone 12 Pro Max. Am I going to get it?
Probably.
Whatever,
you probably already have it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Do I look like a COVID survivor?
I think you will. Statistically, yes. Yeah.
Thank God. I did it.
But like you were saying, like different types of media, where you're getting your media from.
Right. I mean, I think, by and large, like a lot of, large reputable media organizations have done a fairly good job at, reporting, the data as it's coming out, things we understand it, trying to keep it most consistent with like the scientific understanding that we have to date. I think like Anthony Fauci has been a very good mouthpiece for communicating things. Him. I mean, it's not a surprise to anybody. We live in a time with like a lot of conflicting opinions and a lot of...
you don't say.
I don't say.
And then you have like conspiracy a lot of armchair doctors,
Right.
Like,
and, a lot of stuff spreads on social media through misinformation campaigns that sensationalize things. I think the issue is a lot of these conspiracy theories either are like bizarre governmental conspiracies, or downplaying that, this whole thing is like a mock-up.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So, well, you're in the front lines and you're seeing it every day. Like you just mentioned downplaying. So what would you say to people? I'm asking in an objective point, like you're a doctor, give an objective view of what it is, right? Like if someone says, oh, it's not that bad, the hospitals are fine, what would you say to them?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, as of this week, the number one cause of death in LA County is coronavirus, surpassing heart disease, surpassing cancer.
They were saying like there was a death like every 6 minutes based on the number of people who died.
Holy crap.
That's what it averaged out to.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of people were thinking that this is, kind of just like a strong version of the flu. But the reality is, with influenza, usually less than 50,000 people in the U.S. die a year. It's usually closer to 20 or 30,000. You can fact check me on that, but it's in the tens of thousands.
Right.
Whereas, the coronavirus, it's already in the hundreds of thousands. It's possible, with this current surge, it could, reach like a 7-figure digit.
Oh my God, yeah, like 1 million just in America.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't remember like when you're talking about it. I think it was like 300,000 or something so far had died.
Yeah, 381,000 so far deaths in the U.S. And that was
we're at 381?
381
I thought we were
deaths
just
to
at 300.
COVID. No. And that was as of this morning.
Jeez.
We'll
see
today.
tomorrow.
So, I mean, that we could be over 400 by now, for all I know. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility.
Right. So, I mean, I think, there's a few things to keep in mind. The vast majority of people who get it, don't even get sick enough that they need to go to the hospital. And then of those that go to the hospital, the vast majority don't need to be put on a ventilator. And then of those who get it put on the ventilator, a good number of those survive. Fortunately, like today, people like our survival rate is better than it was, let's say back in like March or April, just because we have more medications now. We kind of understand how to treat it a little bit better. But that being said, even if, it's only a few percent of people who get it, end up dying from it, it's a numbers game. When you have so many people getting it like you have now, it's not that it's more lethal today than it was previously, but, just the amount of people getting it is overwhelming our healthcare system, not only in LA County, but, here in San Diego County. We've been operating at like over 100% capacity in our hospitals. We've been making makeshift ICUs. It's objectively affecting, patients' care, even though I work at a, world-class healthcare institution with a lot of resources. I've had patients that I've taken care of at, that should have been in the ICU, but there was no space in the ICU for them. There's certain tests and procedures I've ordered in patients, even in the ICU, that had to be rationed because there simply wasn't like the staff or the resources to get those done that day. So even though, people are still, being able to get to the hospital, they're being able to get to bed. We're very close to that threshold of not being able to, take more people. But even, people in the hospital, we're unfortunately having to improvise, and people aren't necessarily getting the care that they previously would have.
Well, and it isn't like EMTs and ambulances having to do more field work now because they're like, we can't just automatically take you to a hospital because we have to figure out, is this worthy of us taking you to the hospital, because there's just no beds there for you, so they wouldn't be able to help you anyway.
Yeah,
is that something
I'm not entirely sure about that.
Right.
I don't work in EMS. I've worked in the emergency room a little bit. But I'm not really, as up to date as far as everything that's going on in that field. I've definitely seen situations, even here at Scripps, where we've had patients on gurneys in hallways, like separated by fabric barriers, waiting to get a room in the. Oh, thank you. Waiting to get a room in the ED. But we were just trying to mobilize and get the ambulances dispatching back out to the field again.
Oh, okay. So I know that there is a lot that, doctors, nurses, and everybody are doing. So. And it's a lot to take on every day. So are there things that you guys are doing as a staff and everything to kind of help with your own mental health and dealing with this? Is there?
I mean, I think something that's super helpful is the camaraderie of, working with your friends and colleagues, showing up to work every day.
Cooper is very active tonight.
Cooper is. He's excited.
Sorry, listeners.
Just wants to get in on all the action.
One of our engineer is just, high energy tonight.
I just got it.
Sorry. So anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is absolutely having, an effect on, people who are, on the front lines, their mental health. There's a lot of burnout. There's a lot of fatigue.
Right.
You hear about doctors who have, worked, months and months without taking like a single day off in some areas. Fortunately, I haven't had to do that. I think people are just trying to be more supportive of each other, and show more like compassion and camaraderie. They, like the medical group I work with, they have brought in mental health providers to, provide like counseling service free of charge to the physicians. So you can, set up times when if you want to talk to them or just decompress, if you don't already have, like a counselor that you see on a routine basis.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is also just finding like the small victories in what we do. Like, yes, there's a lot of exhaustion. Yes, there's a lot of, disappointment in, people, dying or, not doing well. There's a lot of stress of families not being able to visit and the isolation that our patients are feeling, that we're feeling. But, we also do get victories. There are people who come off the ventilators. There are people who, do recover, that, had the odds stacked against them and do get to leave. I know for a long time, the hospital, every time a patient that was admitted with COVID, when they discharged, over the loudspeakers, they would play song Happy by Pharrell.
Aww.
So everybody in the hospital would know that, hey, we have one for the win column today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I would cry every time.
Did you guys do like a TikTok video of it or something for?
I don't know. Like a lot of times people would actually even go like out to the courtyard or down to the entrance just to like clap and wave to them as they're like leaving and going home, while their family, who hasn't seen them for who knows how long, was, waiting there to pick them up. So it's like you get sweet, beautiful moments like that as well.
Yeah. And I think cherish those too.
Right.
Like,
and I think one thing that is in some ways that just kind of this whole pandemic, brings everybody together. We're all in it together. Like regardless of like what you're doing, your life is being dramatically affected. And at this point, everybody, either has had COVID or knows somebody who's had COVID. So I feel like it's, touching people a lot closer to home. So yeah, I mean, it's, it's tough. It's, mentally challenging, like you were mentioning. But I think, and even though we're like surging at our worst place right now, I think that we can see kind of light at the end of the tunnel. The fact that we do have, a vaccine that's now going into like mass distribution.
And we have 2 of them. Really,
we have a couple, right? I mean, there's a lot. I think there was over 20 in clinical trials.
Okay,
and
but
there's a
2
lot
that
in
have
development.
been
2 approved.
2 approved
for emergency authorization
in the United States. Yes.
Yes.
And now you have had the vaccine, correct? Have you had both shots?
Yep. I got the Pfizer vaccine. I had the first shot on December 18th.
Was it cold? Was it cold going in? Did you feel it being cold when going in?
So cold going in. I'm
just saying, because they have to keep it frozen or something. I was like,
no, it's room temperature by the time it goes in you.
Yeah, isn't it always?
I was just going to say that. No, it wouldn't be room temperature. It'd be 98.6 degrees. But if you have some room temperature dick, that's weird.
That's still going to be cold going in.
Yeah, that's 75
it's like
degrees.
Some heated lube you're using there.
What did you do? You freeze the lube? Okay. So, I mean, hey.
So explain to us, if people don't know, how the process for the vaccine works, because it's 2 shots, right? Mm-hmm. So what is that?
In layman's terms for the listeners.
Yeah. Layman's terms. Yeah. So I think people are aware that, it's a 2-shot series. I was mentioning like I got the first one on December 18th. And then I got the second in the series actually just this Monday. So it would have been like January 11th?
Oh, it's that long in between?
It's 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Typically, yeah.
And then after this one, will you be quote unquote fully vaccinated?
Yep. And the data shows that you actually get protection about 10 days after your first vaccine.
Oh.
Yeah.
So don't tell that to the people.
Yeah. Okay, you can edit that part out.
Yeah, because then they're going to be a PV.
We don't need anybody.
I got the vaccine 10 days ago. I'm good. Wait until 2, everybody, and then give it a week.
Which I think that's like important to like point out, though, that people are getting most of the benefit actually from the first vaccine, because the proposed plan for the Biden administration come January 20th is to start doing like max vaccinations, trying to get everybody their first vaccine. Instead of holding half of them back to do these 2-part series, which the UK has actually been doing this whole time.
Oh.
So it'll get more people protected more quickly.
Thank God.
And there's nothing harmful about, getting the second vaccine, more than 3 or 4 weeks after the first. You just really can't do it before 3 or 4 weeks after.
So it's the second one is just like a booster.
Right, a booster, and the one that more solidifies your long-term immunity.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
Because, I'm getting mine this weekend, going over to Petco Park here in San Diego, and they're doing like a drive-through kind of thing. And I'm like, okay,
Can
sure.
you get like
Can
a
I get
churro?
fries with that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can you get what is it? Buy me some Cracker Jacks. Cry me some.
What is with you in song today?
I don't know. What's the take the ball game out?
Yeah,
take me out to
take
the
me out the ball
cheese.
game.
I am losing my brain. Take the ball game out to me tonight. It's the part 2 version.
Okay.
He just thought about balls and got excited.
I know,
It
he
just
was
scrambled
like,
his brain.
I want some of that ball game, okay?
But they do have Baked Bear at Petco Park, so if they're they're probably.
I
not
love
open.
that. Yeah, I love Big Bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious
I like
to hear
my
your
bears
experience
big.
how they do it, because like after you do it, you're supposed to wait a certain amount of time to make sure
You're
you don't have a
supposed to-
reaction.
Right. They have you so what I understand, they're going to have me park somewhere close to where they just administered the vaccine and wait 15 minutes to see if and like with anything, there's going to be side effects. I know this, and I'm willing to take that risk because I know that there have been people who have had serious side effects. Like some people have had seizures, allergic reactions because of certain things in the vaccine.
I'm not sure if people have had seizures. I would have to like double check. I don't know if that's really a side effect.
Okay. Because
There's-
like some of the stuff out there, it's like on the CDC, like one person may have had a seizure, and then they're all of a sudden they're like, people have had seizures. I'm like, one person.
It's an adverse event,
Like,
yeah.
Is that even an adverse?
But don't forget the
reaction
most
to that?
important side effect: being a badass bitch because you're
Okay.
vaccinated.
I am not going to go on any like gay dating apps and start changing my name to Vaccinated Top.
Oh, vaccinated. Is it
It would
because
be
it's
vaccinated bottom or vaccinated verse.
Yes. No, it's vaccinated verse. That's what
I would be
that is.
surprised if I saw top on any of your dating profiles. I don't know you very well. I'm just saying.
This bitch, you're not vaccinated from catching these hands.
Oh man. Oh, that episode hasn't come out yet. So.
You're no longer mask for mask because you're vaccinated.
Well, but he's still got his mask on, so he's good.
Okay, so I hate all of you.
But we love all of you and your vaccinated beauty.
So, can you explain a little bit, if you even know, what the difference is between like the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines? Like, is there a huge difference in the two?
So not a huge difference. They have a very similar efficacy. So your protection that you get from both of them is, in like the mid 90s, like the 95% range. So they're both actually pretty exceptional vaccinations from that standpoint. And they actually are, the technology behind both of them is very similar. They're both mRNA vaccinations, which is, a very new biochemical technique that we've actually never had for a vaccine before.
This isn't going to change my genetic code. I'm not going to grow like a tail or anything, right?
I hope
an
you
extra
do.
tail.
I really hope you do.
An extra.
And as you're
tail,
like
Paul.
brushing it, I'm imagining it has fur. As you're brushing it, you're like, this is Rona.
Well, no, then you can go in the Guinness Book of World Records.
This bitch become a comedian.
He's gay. Gay doctors are funny. Hello.
And I'm on my like second pour of Chardonnay here, so
We do give our guests good wine.
Yeah, we
so.
lick. You know what? We do liquor them up pretty well.
We do, yeah.
Huh.
So
If you want to be a guest, join us.
like if you want some free good wine,
but you have to be interesting. We'll have to interview people.
then why is he here?
well, you gave me the,
He has helped spreading
you
the
have to be
news.
interesting, or we'll give you wine until you are.
There you go.
That's the asterisk footnote.
Right.
There we go.
So you were saying about the vaccines.
Yeah. So were we talking about like the difference between the two?
You were talking about the mRNA.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's just the actual thing that they're injecting that's leading to the immune response. I don't want to get like too technical, but most vaccinations are either what they call live attenuated, meaning they're actually giving you a virus that has been altered somehow so it can no longer infect you or make you sick, but your body will respond to it and build an immunity to it. We don't see those very often anymore. There's very few actual live attenuated viruses anymore, but they still do exist. And they're administered more in like other countries. We really don't see them very often here in the US. But then the most common is you're given a protein that is your body is building an immune reaction to, which is a protein that would be found in whatever pathogen you're trying to get immunized against.
And not like, I'm going to get bulked up protein, just to specify.
Yes. Yeah.
Or the protein you get from,
Oh my God. From what, Paul? From what's,
Right. So the idea is you're trying to expose your immune system to something that it'll create antibodies against and then create an immune memory against. So when it's exposed to it again in the future, you have a leg up in that you're prepared to like extinguish it and fight it before you get infected or very sick.
Okay.
And so the interesting thing about an mRNA vaccination, and the M in mRNA just stands for messenger RNA, which is a very similar molecule to DNA, is that you're basically injecting it into yourself, and then mRNA is what your body uses as a messenger from DNA to create a protein. So it's a very natural thing. We make a lot of mRNA ourselves. It's made in the nucleus, so the very center part of the cell. It's what is transcribed off of the DNA, and then it is transported out of the nucleus of the cell. And then there's special molecular proteins in the cell that read that mRNA and build a protein from that code. So essentially what we're doing is we're just injecting the blueprint so your cell can make the protein, and then your body launches an immune reaction against that protein that's being made based on the mRNA. So it's kind of like we're just going back a step. Instead of injecting ourselves with a protein, we're injecting ourselves with a blueprint for our cells to make the protein that we then launch the immune reaction to.
I thought I was in like high school science class.
Just remember the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I'm following perfectly.
And the mitochondria has nothing to do with any of this.
Mitochondria, we don't know her. She has nothing to do with anything happening here. So, you've had both the booster and the vaccine already. So, did you have any side effects when you got yours?
So I did not. I feel kind of fortunate because I have a lot of colleagues who did. I literally felt nothing after the first one. I didn't even have any like soreness in my arm or anything.
So what was the most common side effect that you saw amongst your coworkers? So
the most common side effect is just, local irritation at the site of the injection. Which that's, your body just being irritated because you had a piece of metal like stabbed into a muscle.
Sorry.
We're 5, don't worry.
Yes, I'm sorry. You said you've listened to our podcast. You know I'm going to do this.
If the nurse who's giving you the vaccine is walking up with anything other than a needle, question it.
Well, I mean, it depends.
Is there not it
depends on how cute they are.
Am I getting 2 injections today?
Yes, just unbutton your shirt a little bit more, prop up your titties.
Ew, did you say I had titties?
Everybody has
Everybody got them titties. Just unbutton your shirt and push them up a little bit.
Squish them together. Ooh.
So, besides the irritation at the injection spot, what else? What did you see?
Badassery. That's the other side effect.
Right. You get extra sassy. You grow a tail.
Shit, well, when I take it, what's going to happen if you get extra sassy? Oh, God, am I going to blow up?
You're probably going to have to be institutionalized if you get any more sassy.
Like at a college? An institution? Like a college institution?
We'll go with that.
Okay. Cool. I can rock a straight jacket and make it a gay jacket.
Yeah.
Okay, done. So basically you didn't have too many side effects.
Yeah, so I, fortunately didn't really feel anything. On the second one, I think yesterday I felt like a little soreness in kind of my shoulder. But it wasn't anything that I even really was aware of. It wasn't a problem. I think, a lot of people, experience kind of a more systemic reaction where they feel, maybe some body aches, some joint aches, some muscle aches.
Tired, right?
Some people feel like a little bit more fatigued. Some people actually even mount a fever. But those are all very appropriate things. That is just your body feeling the effects of, an immune response.
So it's actually it's a sign it's working.
It's a sign your body is reacting to it, which is good. Why some people don't or why I didn't, I don't know. But yeah, it's just it has to do with like how robustly your immune system's responding to it, and then how you're feeling from it. Because I think like maybe a lot of people don't understand. Whenever you get sick from a virus or a bacteria, most of the symptoms you're experiencing are not due to the virulence or pathogeneity of the virus or bacteria itself, but a lot of your sick symptoms come from your immune response and the inflammatory response that comes secondary to that infection. Like the reason you're running a fever is because that's your body, ramping up its metabolic rate to be able to like fight this off faster. A lot of the symptoms that you feel of feeling sick are due to your immune system is producing itself to help fight off this virus. So it's kind
you
of
didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
You're never feeling the issue that you have. It's your body's fixing things that you feel.
Yeah, your body's immune response and cytokine response to the infection that you're really feeling. There are certain things that certain pathogens do generate and create that will make you feel ill and make you feel sick. But like food poisoning. But by and large, when you're feeling like these like cold and flu symptoms of, some of the body aches, the joint aches, the fevers, things like that, a lot of that is being driven by your immune's response to the infection itself.
Okay.
So what would you
go ahead.
So what would you say in like a recommendation if someone's nervous about getting vaccinated?
Oh, I'd want to know.
You're fine.
I'd want to know what their hesitation was. Some people are just deathly afraid of needles, and I know some people who, at all costs, try to avoid needles. And there's not.
Is there a suppository option for the vaccine?
Maybe that'll be next.
I thought you were power top over there.
Hashtag vaccinated top over here.
No top would ask if there was a suppository version.
Hashtag suppository. Me.
I was asking so I can help.
Asking for a friend.
Hashtag asking for a friend. Oh my god.
He's like, I'm going to line up at Petco Field. I'm going to be a distributor of the suppository vaccine. Feel like I am a professional.
Males only.
Bend over.
And then you realize you got in like the 75 plus line and you're like,
oh my god.
What makes you think I'm not into that?
It's fine. This is a judgment-free zone.
So basically, don't worry. You're going to be fine. And if you have a severe reaction, go to the hospital.
Millions and millions of people have been vaccinated now. The side effects are, fairly minimal. Some people do feel kind of shitty and crummy. So I would say maybe don't do it the day before you have like plans that you need. If there's something important you need to do the next day, whether it's like work or whatever.
A Netflix binge,
No, I'd say Netflix binging would be perfect for this.
Well, you got to pay attention. I have to watch the next season of Blown Away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got to be present.
You have to have your A game,
sharp.
A game on for your binge watching.
Yes.
Oh God.
Everyone tells me I got to pay attention. I can't be on my phone on Instagram while watching Netflix and then watching a YouTube video on my laptop because I have to pay attention.
That's true.
I don't do that every day.
So since we're going into flu season. We're already in flu season too.
We're coming out of flu season.
Oh, we're coming out of flu season. Well, thank God for that. Now I don't have to worry about it. Well, it's not my question.
Like, moving on.
Shut my ass down. Okay. So, what?
Oh, my God.
So, I heard a story that when this first started, the whole COVID thing and everything, you partnered with, hundreds of other doctors to pen a letter to the gay community. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about that.
So that was in response to some Fire Island parties that were going on. I think was it Memorial Day or Labor Day? Which one's the first one?
It was a long time ago.
Oh.
Yeah, but this was during the first surge.
It might have been May. It might have been May.
Back in June or July.
Yeah, I think
was it 4th of July?
It was either 4th of July or Memorial Day.
It was the one in May.
Yeah.
Basically, when
So it was PV, but back last year.
Right. It was PV 101. And then like PV was like Memorial Day 2.0. Anyways, so yeah, it was just when there was like a lot of social media of, just a lot of, circuit parties you know, happening in Fire Island and, just a lot of, not social distancing happening. And it was basically the exact same thing that we just, saw in PV happening over the holidays. And I'm a part of like a physician Facebook group and somebody, just brought up on there like, hey, I feel like it's kind of like our obligation as medical professionals to, voice, our thoughts and our feelings and opinions on this. Not only like our personal views and feelings being like members of like the gay community, but also members of like this healthcare community and, call out the hypocrisy that we're seeing, or I would say the irresponsibility we're seeing at that point. This isn't something that, we could endorse or we can support. And, this is, kind of very, selfish and short-sighted in a lot of ways. So yeah, that was something I'm trying to remember who published it for us. It was,
I remember it was you sent me a link.
Yeah, it was one
really
of these,
helpful.
one of these like,
it was a news article.
It was in what kind of one of the gay, media outlets. So I wasn't one of the personal authors. There was about a dozen people on there that did author it, and most of them were like infectious disease and public health physicians. But then they were sending it out to us to try to collect signatures from other physicians. So there was a couple hundred of us, and that was something that I like read over and put my name to it.
Oh, cool.
Did anything come of it? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously not, because they all went to PV.
Yeah, that's so.
I guess. I mean, in some ways, we all live in our own echo chambers. So maybe those that were like, "Yes, girl, preach," were the ones who read it. But then
I read it, and I was yes, girl, preaching left, right, up, down, all around.
But were the people who went to Fire Island reading that entire article and taking it to heart? Probably not.
No.
Can
But,
they read?
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, obviously not. We just had PV, so apparently some people didn't take it to heart.
Yeah.
So, where is the best information for people to go to learn more about the vaccine and
COVID
and COVID and stuff like that you have seen that you would recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I think the CDC, if you go right to the CDC website, they have a lot of good information, about the vaccine. As you're already on it. Johns Hopkins has actually kind of been the forerunner in keeping up to date on a lot of like the data and statistics, and they're also putting out a lot of good informational information for the general public. I guess I get my information from sources that might not necessarily be great for just a casual reader, somebody who maybe doesn't want to know all the science and medicine behind it. But I think starting with the CDC and Johns Hopkins website are really good sources.
And Facebook.
Definitely Facebook.
Yeah, when your aunt posted something like, or your second, third removed cousin, twice from whatever that is, about
Facebook,
something,
Twitter, you name it.
Yeah, I think if we follow Donald Trump on Twitter, he'll post some stuff on Facebook.
We can't anymore.
I know, I was joking.
So let's find out some stuff about you. So, before we let you go, we like to ask 3 questions.
Oh yes, rapid fire.
So, rapid fire questions.
God.
You're not allowed to think about this. I didn't even write anything down, so I'm just gonna go.
Oh, we are
winging.
We're cold. Is this a cold read?
Yeah.
Wait, we have nothing to read. We must be like.
He's been over here reading me this entire time.
I hope you're showering after this with your pipe burst or whatever.
Okay. So
I feel like that's an inside joke because that makes no sense.
This is the next week's episode.
Okay.
So
Spoiler alert.
If you were a pizza topping, what would you be?
What type of topping?
A pizza topping.
A pizza topping? Ooh.
And if you say a footlong sausage, we're all gonna be like, no.
I was gonna go with Italian sausage.
That's me.
Okay.
Ooh, if you're the Italian sausage, I don't know. Cheese.
Okay.
I love cheese. Cheese brings me like
without
an
cheese
inappropriate
comes
amount of
standard.
Okay,
But I mean, but what if you want something else
Extra
besides
cheese?
mozzarella,
Okay, that's true.
but not schmegma?
Oh god,
We've talked about this already. I mean, I don't know what you were into, but maybe I don't know.
To each their own.
Do you really love cheese? Like, are you a huge cheese fan? Like, this is
doesn't-
not part of the
who
rapid
doesn't
fire.
love cheese? Like, if I
dairy
became
people-
lactose intolerant, I would just say sorry to whoever I lived with. Like,
Well, and I feel like most lactose intolerant people are just like, they're not like your people who have a gluten intolerance. They're like, fuck this, I might eat some ice cream.
They take
And
their
like, I will
lactate.
right,
go
I'm going to
ahead.
eat this and I'm going to punish some porcelain later. Like,
But it's worth it.
it is worth it.
I don't know of a question.
I mean, there's very few things that bring me as much happiness in life as cheese.
I know,
Aw.
but
Yeah.
but what's your favorite cheese? And this isn't part of the rapid fire. I just want to know for myself. What's your favorite cheese?
Ooh, favorite cheese? I think the favorite cheese I've ever had is like a smoked Gouda. That is so delicious.
Yeah. Do you like stinky cheeses too, or just
Pardon?
like? Do you like stinky cheeses?
I do. Interestingly, I don't like goat cheese, but like everything
Get out
else-
of the studio right now.
Okay.
It's the house. We discovered, I mean, there's a doctor in the house, not a studio.
Don't like goat cheese. Why?
I think it's because
Do you not like goats?
I mean, I love goats, but we like had goats growing up,
Oh.
and billy goats smell really, really bad,
Oh.
like really bad.
What
And so
about
whenever I'm
bobby
eating
goats?
goat cheese,
No? Okay.
whenever I'm like eating goat cheese, it like brings back like the memory of like a smelly billy goat ass. Like they
Oh.
smell really nasty, and for
Don't
whatever
talk about
reason,
gay people like that.
it's okay. It's okay. I don't know. So, anyways, it's just like for some reason, like the taste and the smell connection is really off-putting to me because I'm just like, this is gross. I mean, I'll eat strong cheeses. I love like sheep cheeses,
Huh.
strong cow cheese. So even like green cheese and blue cheese, and some of these other
green
things, I'm fine with. So it's not that it's like too potent, but whatever reason, the hint of flavor that like all goat cheeses have, like bring back the feeling that I'm like in a goat barn with like a nasty smelling billy goat.
Huh.
Yeah.
I got a question when you're ready.
Okay. So go ahead with your
Okay,
question.
and then you have your third one?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, what song is on repeat right now for you?
Ooh.
You can pull up your Spotify on repeat playlist if needed. It'll tell
I don't know.
us.
I'm kind of late to the Chromatica album.
What?
Oh,
So I
God,
just
this
like
gay right here.
started listening to it recently. So that's been kind of on repeat a lot.
But
like
that was
all of it, or
July.
just like Rain on Me, or
Oh
I mean,
my
are we
God,
talking
Rain on Me is
Chromatica
so
2
good.
into 911 intro? Like, what are we talking about? Like,
Exactly. I don't
okay,
know.
see, there we go.
the
Alright.
whole thing.
Yes.
So, what was your favorite TV show growing up?
I didn't like watch a whole lot of TV growing up.
Fuck this
I know.
bitch right here.
See,
Is it
might
because you were
have to-
busy with Billy Goat's ass?
Exactly. I was out there
Smelling
like
Billy Goat's ass.
Can't talk now, guys. Really busy. Oh,
Okay,
Nickelodeon's
so-
on?
One more. What is your guilty pleasure?
Diet Coke.
Oh.
I am addicted to Diet Coke. I drink it like every day and usually like multiple cans a day. I will usually like have a Diet Coke with lunch, probably have another one sometime in the afternoon, maybe even have like another one like when I get home at night.
Oh.
Like I drink Diet Coke like a middle-aged divorced woman.
But like
It's
Diet
bad.
Coke or Coke Zero? Are you a
Diet Coke.
devout
I do
to
not
Diet
like I
Coke?
do no I don't like Coke Zero. Actual like full-on Diet Coke.
Okay.
Yeah, like that middle-aged woman in HR who's
Oh.
Who says she's on a diet?
exactly.
We all know her.
Exactly.
With her fake nails. Painted red.
She's
She's like
like-
lipstick.
She's like, oh, I got a girl I can introduce you to. She's been looking for a husband who's a doctor.
Oh, you're like, honey, I don't play that game. Women,
Like, not
no
here.
thanks.
Well, thank you, Travis, for being here. We appreciate all your knowledge and
Oh, my
Educating
pleasure.
having
the
a great
fans.
time. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you for being a tugger. We appreciate you listening to our podcast and everything and being on. Oh, so,
Being a fangirl, finally getting to meet my idols.
Oh my god.
oh my God, thank you so much.
It's us.
He wasn't talking to you.
I know.
You're like, bitch, he was looking at me when he said that.
He was totally looking at me. I thought he said that.
I was looking at the puppy, actually.
Shake them titties, Paul. Shake them titties.
Oh, because he said I had some.
We all
Maybe you got to unbutton the shirt and push them together.
Oh, okay,
Unbutton
got
the shirt
it.
and push them together and be like,
I'm
what's
old
the
and
problem,
fat.
officer?
I can't do that.
Oh.
You can do anything you set your mind to.
So, like, before we go, is there a message or anything you would like our listeners to take away with them about COVID-19 or the vaccine or anything like that, or about you?
Oh my gosh, that's so broad. Well, I guess we were here to talk about the vaccination. So, I've been vaccinated I definitely recommend everybody else who, doesn't have an otherwise medical contraindication to get vaccinated. You might feel a little crummy. I definitely have colleagues, physician colleagues. Some of them popped fevers. Some of them felt crummy for a day, but that's all very temporary. It's kind of, a very necessary part that we need to do to, move back to normal, to get the economy open, to kind of move back to normal life, decompress our hospitals. So yeah, I think, if you get the opportunity to get the vaccination, absolutely do it. And things about, I don't know, anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's it.
Vaccination.
That's it.
Do it. Just do it.
Leave them with some hope.
Yeah.
Get a shot in your arm.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Special thanks to Andrew Smith and Nick Stone for producing the show. If you like us, please follow us at tugayspod on Instagram and visit us online at tugayspod.com. You can find us anywhere you can stream podcasts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know topics you'd like to hear. And always remember, stay safe, stay classy, stay sassy, and always stay a little bit trashy. See you next week.